Who will the Kings take it for? It could be literally anybody. It could be Jaden Ivey. It could be Keegan Murray. It could be Chet Holmgren if he falls. It could be one of us three. It would not surprise me. It's fucking Sacramento, and we're here to talk about it. This is part of our NBA lottery series. We're doing this for every single team in the lottery. Who will they take? Who should they take? I'm Greg Waddell. Carter Elliott with me. We are Sleepers Media, and we have our NBA draft expert, Nima, here to break it all down for us. All right. Sacramento is notoriously idiotic. They do things that make little to no sense at all times. They find themselves really yet again getting somewhat unlucky in a draft that has three guys. They fall to four. They traded Tyrese Halliburton, who was the one promising thing they had, for Domantas Sabonis. It appears they want to go all in and win. There are rumors they will trade this pick for a win now player. Oh my God. My brain hurts just thinking of it. And Vivek Ranadive, or whatever you say, is courtside in the finals watching his boy Nick Stauskas. So I have no idea what's going through that man's mind. Nima, where do we even start with this? Reasonable people would say Jaden Ivey and I guess Keegan Murray, Ben Mathurin, Shaeden Sharpe are the best players available here. You might go G League route. You might say a guy named Dyson Daniels. Let's just say the Kings are going to hold this pick. Like, we'll get into other things, but they want to make a pick at 4. Who should the Kings take?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough, especially just like intel-wise. I mean, the first 3 we kind of like knew, like, okay, well, Orlando's probably going to take Jabari and all that. The Kings haven't worked out a guy who's projected in the top 20. So, like, I don't know what they're planning on doing. But if we're saying they're going to keep the pick, you know, it's a weird position because I think Jaden Ivey, consensus-wise, is the number 4 player, but you already have De'Aaron Fox on roster, who is essentially just an older version of he's Jaden Ivey if Jaden Ivey had dunked on me before. But I do think, like, we've seen like the Kings last year with the 3-guard lineup with Tyrese Halliburton. Like, they could do something similar with Jaden Ivey and De'Aaron Fox. I just don't see it working. But that's a very Kings thing to do, is pick somebody that, like, you should not pick, that does not fit on your roster, that you could potentially ruin their career. So I do think Jaden Ivey's probably the pick here if the Kings keep it, or some guy that y'all like a lot that I don't think is that incredible, but I do think he's a good player again, in Keegan Murray. I think Keegan Murray might be a Kings pick at 4.
So I've been trying to look at all these names. If we assume Jabari, Chet, Paolo are all off the board, I've been trying to think what would be the least Kingsy pick to make, meaning, like, what's a way they don't fuck this up? Because you're right, Jaden Ivey is like the consensus 4th best player. I disagree with that. We can talk about why, but, like, that's still a weird pick for the Kings because they have Davion Mitchell and De'Aaron Fox. And I know we mentioned they did 3 guards with Halliburton. Ivey and Halliburton could not be more different. Halliburton is like the temperament of a baby lamb. Like, he'll just go wherever you go. If you hurt him, he will
they're completely
get along
different
with everybody. He can pass. Jaden Ivey will pout. He can't really pass. He can't really shoot. He can't really go left, and he doesn't want to defend. That's a weird fit if he has to be the 3rd guard in Sacramento. So I looked up and down this list, though. Like, if it's not Ivey, then is it Shaeden Sharpe? Because that's a Kingsy pick. Is it Ben Mathurin? Reaching for him at 4, Kingsy pick. AJ Griffin is what I think is the most Kingsy pick, and that's my prediction of what they're going to do. The only one that I would feel not Kingsy is Keegan Murray, and even that feels like a reach. Cart, what do you make of this?
Oh, see, I think you're underestimating the Kings. I think they could go super, super Kingsy. Like, I'm talking about, like, reach for, like, Jeremy Sohan at number 4, or like a Jalen Duren or something like that. Like, I truly believe that. I truly believe that they could make that move. It's so hard to, like, pick for the Kings because at least, like, the teams we talked about and, you know, teams we're going to talk about, I think there's literally some type of direction or something going on. Like, they drafted Davion Mitchell last year. I love Davion Mitchell. I love him as a prospect. I hate that he had to go to Sacramento to basically let his career die, like most careers die, unless you get traded like Tyrese Halliburton. So now you can't draft Jaden Ivey. That just doesn't work. Maybe they double back with, didn't they originally draft Ben McLemore?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they just double it back with another Ben, and hopefully this Ben works out, Benedict Mathurin. Like,
that's
I feel like
for Mathurin, by the way. I think.
Oh, really? I think Mathurin's gonna be a lot better than McLemore because I think Ben Mathurin can actually score 3. Yeah, I think Mathurin can actually score at 3 levels. But what I will say is, I think that this pick is going to be AJ Griffin or Shaeden Sharpe. I feel like that's the way they're going to go. Probably Shaeden Sharpe before AJ Griffin. Honestly, I think Shaeden Sharpe's going to be the pick.
I like
that probably fits with their team, right? I mean, I guess they need a wing.
Another guy that can't shoot, can't dribble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it consistent. Yeah.
I guess if we're going fit route, that rules out Ivy, and I guess it would rule out a true center.
I think it rules out Duran too. I think Duran and Sabonis doesn't make a ton of sense. But that
the Kings should trade back.
I think they will trade back.
Who wants to trade up though? Who's trading up to 4? Is it
probably somebody who's at like
Ivy?
I can see the Pelicans doing it at 8.
I just like some team can definitely talk themselves into Jaden Ivey, but I don't know. I don't feel like you need to move up to 4 necessarily to get a good guard in this draft. Maybe, I don't know. Sure. It feels weird. It feels like a weird spot. This is a spot that swings it one way or the other for sure. None of us expect this to happen, but God forbid if one of the big 3 fell to the Kings at 4, are we confident they would even take that player? Like, no. let's say Paolo falls to 4 because the Rockets do some stupid shit and trade out of 3. And that, I don't know, that team takes Jaden Ivey instead of Paolo. Like, do the Kings just no-brainer phone in Paolo, or do they pick someone weird? Nima?
No, I think they take somebody stupid. Like I've and no offense to any Kings fans who are watching this. I'm sure the Kings are one day going to be a decent franchise, but that's not today. I haven't liked any of their drafts. I think Davion Mitchell at 9 was like a weird pick. I do like Davion Mitchell, but at 9 was kind of insane. On draft night, it was insane. The thing is, I like AJ Griffin a lot, but I definitely could see him going at 4. I like that pick of this.
That would at least be a decent fit pick. Like if we are talking what they need, like I can talk myself into the Kings' reasoning on why AJ Griffin makes sense. I just can't talk myself into the value of Griffin at 4. All right, let's go. I guess round the horn. Who would we take? Let's assume Chet, Jabari, and Paolo are all gone. We are the GM of the Sacramento Kings. Carter, who would you take at 4?
I'd take Shaeden Sharpe.
I would take Keegan Murray. Nima?
I would take AJ Griffin.
Nobody takes Ivy. Okay, interesting. Who do we think they will take now? Nima, you go first.
I think they trade it, but if I think they're picking somebody, I think they pick Keegan Murray.
I think they take Ivy.
Oh, I think they pick AJ Griffin. All right, so that shows you how chaotic this is going to be. Nobody knows what they're going to do, and they're, clueless in general. It will change the draft, and I want to put this formally out there so we can clip it if and when it happens. I weirdly do think Paolo is going to fall out of the top 3, and I think the Kings are going to totally ruin this by picking someone stupid over Paolo, like AJ Griffin, his teammate. Paolo falls to 5.
Ruin everyone's Paolo first Duke player to be taken ticket. Thanks to Kings.
Yeah, minus 600. Thank you, Vivek. Good luck, Kings fans. I hope you enjoyed this video of us shitting on your organization.